Hello YouTubers, this video is a slightly sad video because today, Saturday the 13th of March 2021, was the day that Murray Walker, Formula One commentary legend, sadly passed away at the age of 97.
Michael Schumacher going to make a good start and cut across the front of Mika Häkkinen. He's famous for that. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 laps. Pause. Go, go, go.
Murray Walker was well known in the UK and in many countries around the world for the sheer enthusiasm of his commentaries on Formula One and many other types of motorsport.
Number 1, Winkelhock, second in the BMW. Third is Alan Menu in the Renault. Behind him is Steve Soper out of Dufferston. Peter McIntyre's the right-hander. This is really close. Through the chicane. And off! It's Tarquini. What happened? Gabriele Tarquini in the Alfa Romeo. Thank heavens he's safe out of the car, rushing.
As a Brit who became interested in Formula One and motor racing in general in the early 1980s, Murray's legendary commentating partnership with the late James Hunt, the 1976 Formula One world champion, was a legendary part of my Formula One and motor racing education.
I worked in the BBC with James for 13 years, and in those days there were 16 races a year, and we would be together for 4 days at each of those races. So if you multiply 13 by 16 by 4, you get a very large number, and those were the numbers of days that I suffered with and enjoyed the company of James. But James was both a joy and an agony to work with. He was a joy to work with because he was a Formula One world champion, and he'd done something I'd never done. He'd been there and done that and won races and become world champion. He was also agony because he didn't think like the rest of us. He was a free-thinking spirit. I was old enough to be his father, Matt, and there were aspects of his life that I didn't admire.
Andrea de Cesaris in 9th position, Winkelhock in 10th position is Lauda, and there is Jean-Pierre Jarier about to be lapped by the leading 4 cars. Whatever it was wrong with Jarier's car has been put right. And now he's going to be passed by his fellow Frenchman, Patrick Tambay. Well, we hope he is. We've said in the past that Jean-Pierre Jarier is not always the easiest man in the field to pass. Is he going to be difficult again?
And it's given Arnoux an opportunity to have a sharp look at Tambay's. I think the trouble is it hasn't really helped Arnoux because with Jarier there as well, as usual, getting in the way, and he's managed to hold them up for 2 corners now, and it really is completely out of order. A driver of his experience, and Arnoux is getting through. He's getting alongside. Tambay's cracking at it the other side, but can't, and he'll be thanking Jarier probably with a knuckle sandwich after the race, I think, for that. And as Piquet pulling through on the inside, I think, has just nipped through inside, and Jarier really is completely out of order. I mean, he really shouldn't be allowed to drive in Grand Prix racing. He is, he's got a mental age of 10 in the first place, and that was absolutely disgraceful for a driver of his experience. And
the errors, Murrayisms, and Murray's fun and enthusiastic commentary, even though he made a few mistakes along the way, was all part of the show, and it made listening to him as a commentator even more enjoyable and even more exciting.
Pete Dam wins, looks through a completely clean windscreen, and that's the big advantage, of course, of being in front. And that's the big disadvantage of getting your line wrong. Into the pit lane comes Andrea De Cesaris, the man who's won more Grand Prix than anybody else in the history of Grand Prix racing without actually winning one of them.
Mazda on the left, Mazda on the right, Vauxhall in the middle. They're absolutely together, side by side. They're very close. In fact, they touch. Bang, bang. And that is Neil. And that is a very big one indeed. Roll, roll, roll again. All the way down the straight. And Harvey's right behind. Harvey's attacking Cleland. There's Harvey, there's Cleland. So Cleland has stayed ahead, but Soper is ahead of the Vauxhall. So John Cleland is sandwiched between the two BMWs. I'm going for first, says John Cleland.
Michael Schumacher, who seems to me to be pacing himself calmly and in his experienced way to yet another victory. If it is, it will be his 48th Grand Prix in his 150th year.
But Murray Walker always had a very good sense of humour, and he always enjoyed the fun side of motor racing and the fun side of broadcasting. And so, to round off this video, here is one or two clips of Murray enjoying the fun side of his job.
But to sign off from Portugal and to show you that even when the tension is high, the Williams team can still be light-hearted, have a look at what happened when we tried to put together the beginning of Grand Prix. Good night. Here in Portugal, this is round 14 of the 16 Race World Championship and the end of the European season. Here in Portugal, this is round 14 of the 16 Race World... And here beside me, as you can see, are the two Williams drivers, each with 4 wins to their credit, and one of whom is most likely to win the World Championship. But which one? Championship leader, Nigel Mansell, or second, Nelson Piquet?
That's enough.
Rest in peace, Murray. And although I never had the privilege of meeting you, many thanks for all the great memories. It was a privilege to have you commentate on all those great motor races, especially the Formula One races that I enjoyed from the 80s onwards.